Welcome everybody to our show. This is Custom Fab Garage on our channel Octane TV on YouTube. Make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button, and on top of that, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can get all the new content that comes out weekly and even every day.
Next vehicle we're going to be doing, 2022 Ford Bronco. This is the Outer Banks edition. We're going to be doing new speakers, front dash, bottom kick panel, and the rear speakers that are on the back. And then we're also going to be adding a subwoofer to it. Stay tuned. All right, we're going to start with the driver's side, and then we're going to move over to the passenger side of the top speakers for the Ford Bronco. Someone looks like they've already tried to pry on this, because that doesn't look like it's supposed to be like that, unless that's just tolerances from the factory, which I find odd because that one's up and this one is not. So might try to fix that for them or bend it back. But first we're going to start with prying this off. We're going to start with our plastic pry tool and see how that goes. It's a little easier because somebody's already been in there. The way that we got this up was prying on it like this, and we pry it up, and then once you could get this little side corner up right here, it'll start popping up. Now we also kind of went into it with one, and then we had another one over here to kind of pry this part up right here. And that's how we got it up so far. Now we haven't completely undone it yet, so I wanted to kind of show you guys what was kind of behind here. But I'd be careful pulling up on this too, because it seems very, very tight. Let me see how hard this is going to be to get up. So I will tell you, you are going to have to go all the way around this and pry up. And these back two are the hardest. Like when you try to pull up like this, it's trying to bend them and break them to get this off. So here's what the back side looks like. And what I mean by when you're bending this, so when you're trying to pull up on this edge, what it wants to do is rip this and break it. See, it's putting pressure on this cheap, very cheap plastic, and it's trying to break it. So you got to be careful, because the more you bend up like this, the more it wants to break this. So you got to be very, very, very careful. This is what it looks like underneath. I would take your time and just go around and just try to push up on the edges. That's the only thing I can tell you. And then right there is your, what you want to call Ford 3.5, 4-inch. And then we're going to take out these two, it looks like 7 millimeters, I believe. So I'll confirm that on the next part. So just to confirm, it is a 7 millimeter. We're using our right angle to get in here because of the windshield being right here and right here. You could probably get it with like a regular nut driver or a regular drill, but you're gonna have to angle it super high. So we're gonna use this right angle connected to our drill right here. And here's the stock speaker. We're gonna unplug it right here and plug our new harness in with our new speaker right down in that cavity. And it does have a decent amount of room down in that cavity, because these speakers don't have like the smallest magnets in the world. So it is a pretty big cavity down there. Now I am a little worried about the grill hitting the tweeter, but we'll see what happens. Here's the difference between the factory 4-ohm 25-watt Ford Motor Company speaker and our aftermarket 80-watt 4-ohm Hypnotic HSE 340. This is a two-way coaxial with a butyl rubber plastic separated tweeter, whereas this is going to be a normal cone speaker, just paper. Terrible. Deteriorates extremely fast, especially up in the dash. So just a major difference in both of these vehicles. Now here's the other biggest kicker for a Ford Bronco and a Jeep Wrangler type stuff like that. This rubber and this plastic will not deteriorate, especially with moisture. This in a few years will just deteriorate and especially just go away. It won't even be there after 5 to 10 years. So it's something to think about, but this is way cheaper to make than this. So that's why they do it. That's the whole reason why they do it. So for the front speakers, just like the rear speakers, we're going to be using this 725603 speaker harness for the Ford Broncos. We'll put a link down below for these as well, and they're just going to plug into the speaker right here and then plug right into the factory connector that plugs into this on the factory Ford speaker. And here's what it's going to look like when it's all done. We're going to plug into our positive and negative on the speaker. It's just going to stick right into those terminals, going to come out, and then you're going to have your plug to plug into the factory actual plug that plugs into the stock speaker. So just going to plug this in here, plug these into your speaker, and it's pretty much ready to go. That way you just plug and plays, and if you want to remove it, you just unplug this. You can just plug your stock speaker back in, and you don't have to cut or splice anything. That is the whole object of this, not is to cut or splice anything, all plug and play 100%. We'll need to cut the sides off of both sides. We just went ahead and cut both of these off. They were already perforated. Took our 10 snips here, and they just easily cut off. That way you can bolt it in the factory bolt locations. These will get in the way. Here we plugged it in. It's all ready to go. We're gonna mount it down like it was from the factory, but all you gotta do is plug this in, mount these 2 bolts, 7 mils, back down into here, and everything should go great. One thing I had to do was cut right here, and then cut right here. The reason is because when you stick them in here, see those pegs sticking up on one side and the other? Those pegs will hit the metal brackets on these. Now, it might not on any of your speakers, but these particular speakers, it hits them. So I had to cut them. I'll show you what it looks like mounted down. Okay, see where that post is sticking up here? And the post is sticking up here. I cut around that. 7 mils go right in. Everything mounts in like it's supposed to. The way we did this side was we pushed this into here in the very end. We caused ourselves to get a gap, and then we pulled this up. That's on the passenger side. So we kind of just pushed this down in here, kind of pulled up a little bit, got us a big enough gap to get this down in and pull up at the very start. So we're gonna start on this end and move our way forward. The other one already had like a big crack here. I'm not sure why. So we just cracked it from here and went to the back. So I'm gonna start from the back and go to the front on this side. Easiest way to get this corner out, honestly, in my opinion, get this underneath here and pull up. Don't pull hard, just pull up and it will kink and come right up. That's the easiest way. Passenger side installed as well as the driver's side.